Sup peeps, Crypto Enigma here, welcome back to the channel. Now, it's no secret that here on Crypto TV, we're not afraid to cover controversy. And today, ladies and gentlemen, I will cover what is perhaps one of the most controversial topics within the entire anime community. And I speak, of course, of the highly debated issue regarding which form of anime is truly worthy of being called best. The sub versus dub controversy. Is anime truly more enjoyable when viewed with its original Japanese audio? Or are the English translations simply more enjoyable, more immersive to a non-Japanese audience, thereby making the subtitles a needless hassle to endure? See, ladies and gentlemen, I was fighting with someone the other day about this very thing, and so I decided, fuck it, I'll just make a video about it. So join me as I address this age-old controversy in an attempt to determine the truth and finally lay to rest this age-old debate. In this video, I will address the talking points used by the person I was debating because it isn't the first time that I've heard people argue these same talking points. So let's discuss. Now, the best way that I think I can tackle this subject is by giving you my reasons as to why I believe, or rather why I prefer dubs over subs. To do that, I want to first begin by addressing a common talking point used by the proponents of subbed anime. You see, whenever this subject is discussed, it is often done so with a certain degree of elitism, whereby it is argued that people who watch dubbed anime do so out of sheer laziness to read the subtitles. The implication there being that people who watch subbed anime aren't lazy and therefore naturally gravitate toward the subbed anime because as non-lazy individuals, they are willing to read through the subtitles that the rest of us just couldn't be bothered to, and thus they are not only able to experience the anime in its superior form, but they are also therefore freed from the biased perspective that they would otherwise have as dubbed watching lazy assholes. Going on to say that they prefer anime due to the superior voice acting and dialogue that dub watchers such as myself are apparently ignorant of because we're just simply too lazy to read. Now, I'll address the points about the superior acting at a later part in the video, but if you couldn't already tell by my sarcastic tone, that is the absolute dumbest bullshit I've ever heard in my life. But let me explain to you why it's bullshit. You see, ladies and gentlemen, it isn't hard to understand why I enjoy watching dubbed anime, and obviously it is because I understand the language. And that's weird, isn't it? It's weird how anyone would prefer to sit down and watch a television program in the language that they understand. Isn't it strange how anyone would prefer to watch a television program, to consume the media that they want to consume and understand the context of what is happening merely by looking at it, because they're watching TV. Isn't that weird? The appeal of dubbed anime isn't difficult to understand, ladies and gentlemen. The fact is, I don't want to read when I'm sitting down and watching a television show if I don't have to. Not that I can't read, not that I'm too lazy to, or that I can't read fast enough. It's that I don't fucking want to. I mean, I'm not opposed to watching subbed anime, especially if the dub isn't available. I do enjoy subbed anime. I watch it all the time. I've watched tons of subbed anime. In fact, most of the anime that I've watched is subbed, simply because most anime is subbed. Most anime hasn't been dubbed yet, especially the older, more niche anime. But when it comes to a matter of preference, I don't want to fucking read when I'm watching TV. I don't like to fucking do it. And I really want to emphasize that point. I don't like to fucking read when I'm watching TV. But why do I say that? Well, in order to better understand that, I want to very quickly take a moment to highlight another similarly controversial topic. And see, one thing that bothers me about this whole discussion of sub versus dubbed anime is that while this whole debate is taking place, there is another equally divisive topic raging on simultaneously, being, of course, which form of media is best between manga and anime. And see, the reason I mention that is because fans of manga, or fans within the manga community, oftentimes tend to use the same elitist mindset to essentially belittle fans of anime. And so it is basically argued that anime fans prefer anime because they need the pretty colors and the moving pictures in order to keep them invested in whatever particular story they're watching. Further stating that reading books such as manga is too sophisticated a hobby for the lazy anime watching weebs and their short attention span. The implication in this instance being that anime fans in general are simply too lazy to do some actual reading, as they put it, some real reading. And so fans of anime, and in particular fans of subbed anime, understands that this topic comes down to personal preference. Of course, it isn't true that fans of subbed anime are too lazy to read, and as I already mentioned, they understand that it's a matter of preference, but for whatever reason, they can't seem to apply that same logic to this discussion of sub versus dubbed. And I say that because if you go on any forum where anime is discussed and you mention the fact that you enjoy dubbed anime, you are sure to receive a legion of weebs telling you how much better they are than you, and they will be sure to let you know that you are not a real anime fan. And my point here is that the only reason this topic is even an issue to begin with is that people exist who, for all intents and purposes, are hypocritical, subbed anime elitists who impose their personal preferences on others and support their narrative by ignoring the fact that other individuals can also have their personal preferences. In other words, to them, this whole discussion, this whole matter isn't simply a matter of wanting to enjoy anime in a language that you understand. You see, they frame it as you not being sophisticated enough to enjoy anime in its original language, thereby making you a lazy fake anime fan. Now, aside from all of that being utter bullshit, I want to take a moment to explain why I prefer dubs over subs. And I mean, aside from the fact that I can understand the fucking dub. So, for one thing, I absolutely hate trying to read subtitles when fast action is happening, and in those cases it's not that I can't read the fucking subtitles fast enough, it's that oftentimes the text moves too fucking fast. It basically flashes in your fucking face because the text is trying to keep pace with the action on screen, and a lot of times it ends up happening because another character in the scene is trying to respond to what the previous character said. So the fucking text flashes in your fucking eye, in your eyes, and that whole shit is just something that, could be avoided if you're just listening in the fucking language that you understand. So if you're watching subbed, you're faced with having to rewind in the middle of the fucking action or ignoring the missed dialogue and continuing on. Why settle for the bullshit? Other times I'm genuinely confused by what is being said because the subtitles are shit. And that's one thing that these proponents of subbed anime never like to get into, and it's a lot of times the subtitles themselves are shit, in which case you might as well just watch the shit translation in a language that you understand, rather than wasting your time reading through the fucking subtitles that are shit to begin with. I mean, there are memes all over the internet ridiculing horribly subbed anime, and in that case, again, why would I bother reading the subtitles of a poorly translated anime when I can just listen to its poor translation in dub? And to add to that point, people claim that a lot of context is often lost in translating Japanese to English, and I agree. That tends to happen when one language is translated, to another. But here's the thing: if you actually understand Japanese, then you in particular are able to appreciate the Japanese language. I, on the other hand, who cannot speak Japanese, and precisely because I can't speak Japanese, am not able to appreciate the fucking Japanese in its original language. I mean, it makes no fucking sense. What the hell is the point of attempting to appreciate the original Japanese language through English subtitles? I mean, honestly, it's like fucking weebs, bro. Like, Filthy Frank prophesized about this shit, and I mean, it holds true to this fucking day.
I got a joke for you. Fucking weeaboos go to Japan and be like, where are the subtitles? For those of you who don't know what a weeaboo is, a non-Japanese person who basically denounces their own culture and calls themselves Japanese. They try to learn Japanese through the anime they watch and usually end up pronouncing it wrong and looking like a complete idiot.
But see, even after everything I just said, I actually agree that in many cases, subbed anime can sometimes be better than dubbed. All right. Yeah. Oh, there goes crypto bullshitting again. Why always be bullshitting, crypto? All right, let me explain. I'm not saying that subs overall are better than dubs. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, people claim that subbed anime tends to have better voice acting, and I partially agree. But see, I noticed something. Not only is this argument partially true, but in my opinion, this argument can really only be applied to older anime. See, whenever this topic is discussed, it is often done so with regard to older, more niche anime. But more recent and mainstream anime, such as Attack on Titan, My Hero Academia, Soul Eater, fucking Black Clover, and even classics like Dragon Ball Z and Yu Yu Hakusho, not only are these anime typically left out of the discussion, but in cases like Yu Yu Hakusho, for example, the dub is even widely regarded within the anime community to be one of the very few anime where the dub truly is superior to the sub. Because of their high production value, not only are these anime perfectly acceptable anime to watch, perfectly acceptable dubs, perfectly entertaining dubs, but also, as I just explained, these anime are typically left out of the discussion. Precisely because they are not, shit. They're good dubs. They're good fucking dubs. So my point here is that despite that I generally agree that a lot of older anime tend to have better voice acting in regard to their sub version, I want to make perfectly clear that not only is that not always the case, but I want to point out that people can agree to the premise that Japanese voice acting is occasionally better and still prefer the dub version. I want to make perfectly clear that that is a perfectly valid position to have. You're allowed to have your personal preferences. See, I'm perfectly able to read subtitles while I'm watching TV, but I don't fucking want to because it's annoying to me. You see, whenever I watch anything, I do so because I want to sit and watch whatever it is I'm interested in, meaning I want to sit and have the content on screen enter my eyeballs and entertain me. That's it. I don't need anything. I don't need the fucking subtitles. I don't need any other bullshit. It's honestly that simple. If I have to divert my attention to the bottom of the screen in order to understand the context of what is happening on screen, then again, not only is it annoying to me in the ways that I just fucking described, but ultimately it's counterproductive to what I'm trying to do. Like I want to sit and watch fucking TV, and there's this extra shit that I'm being fucking bullied into fucking doing because otherwise my anime fan card is revoked. And see, wanting to sit and watch fucking TV has nothing to do with laziness. It has nothing to do with laziness and everything to do with personal preference. The fact is, watching a program in the language that the viewer understands is simply a more immersive experience than having to watch and read subtitles in order to understand the context of what is happening on screen, as I already mentioned. Not to say that watching subs isn't entertaining at all, and of course not. In fact, again, as I mentioned, I watch subs. I watch subs all the fucking time. So I'm not shitting on subs here. I'm not saying that they're not entertaining because you have to read. But what I am saying is that at the end of the day, if I am given the choice, I would rather watch programming in the language that I understand. And damn it, I honestly can't believe that I'm honestly sitting here trying to justify that concept to some people. Like, who'd have thunk? Who would have fucking guessed that people prefer watching shit in the language that they understand? Fucking wild, bro. Anyways, I was saying, regarding anime, if I cared at all to read, I would either read the manga to any particular series that I'm interested in, or, I would simply read a graphic novel as far as reading in general is concerned. But if I'm going to bother watching an animation or anything for that matter, then I would prefer to simply sit and watch it in the language that I understand, because I want to understand the shit that I want to sit and watch. Do you understand how it works? Do you understand how fucking TV works? Motherfucker, The reason why you're watching this video without the fucking captions is because you don't want to sit and read while fucking watching this fucking video. But you're a motherfucking hypocrite though, because you don't apply that same reasoning when it comes to dubbed anime versus subbed. All I want to do is sit and watch anime. That's all I want to do, and that's fucking okay. Like, that is really okay. I want everyone out there to understand that if it's annoying to you, if reading the fucking subtitles to you is annoying and you would rather watch anime in the language that you understand, it's alright. I understand. It's okay. Don't let these motherfuckers get you down. So if you're of the opinion that all dubs are simply shit and everyone choosing to watch dubs are simply too lazy to view the superior form of anime because they're too lazy to read, then all I can say is that I agree. I completely agree with you. And by that same logic, I would just like everyone to know that I am immeasurably better and far more superior to any fan of subbed anime, especially if you only watch anime. But why do I say that? Because unlike lazy sub anime watching weebs, I actually take the time to read through an entire series months in advance before these lazy sub watchers even get to see the subtitles on the first episode. So by their own logic, not only am I superior to them in that I am actually willing to read through the entire source material of any given series, but I am also more intelligent, as I don't need the pretty colors and the moving pictures to keep my focus. So you're right. As someone who prefers manga over anime, I, by default, become an elite member of the anime community and gain rank over the sub anime watching weebs. Since my preferred choice of media is the source of all anime, it is forever sanctified and deemed superior above the bullshit that is their anime adaptation. So as your superior, I am willing to concede to the premise that subbed anime is better than dubbed anime, but only if you admit right now that manga is better than anime for the very same reasons that you're describing. Alright, but enough bullshitting. I guess I made my points. Obviously, I'm not against subbed anime. If I'm going to be honest, I'm not against... Well, I never said I was against subbed anime, but in fact, I do enjoy subbed anime myself. Again, most of the anime that I do watch does happen to be subbed because I've watched a plethora of anime and most of it is not dubbed. So I have no issue with subbed anime. But at the end of the day, this whole discussion is a stupid issue. And ultimately, it does boil down to personal preference. Yes, subbed anime sometimes has better acting, especially during tense situations, but throughout the rest of the anime, like during casual dialogue, the voice acting doesn't really mean much to me because I don't understand what the hell they're saying. And I don't really care for the those cute Japanese expressions that a lot of characters have. I know a lot of people feel like Japanese voices sound better. They just like the actor's voice better, or the way that the character's being voiced in Japanese, but that has never really been an issue to me. Like, it's cute or whatever, but whatevs. At the end of the day, that also comes down to preference. You don't have to, like, I really don't give a shit how the fucking character sounds. So it's like, it was never a fucking deal breaker to me. Though I do admit that sometimes Japanese voice actors do just sound better. Like fucking Gon from, Hunter x Hunter. I watched Hunter x Hunter first in subbed, and then I watched the Netflix version in dub. Holy shit. Yeah, they fucked his voice up. Like, my ears were bleeding. So, like, I do agree that sometimes Japanese actors sound better. But honestly, it's still perfectly fine. The dub is still perfectly fine to watch. English dubbed anime isn't so bad that you should instead prefer to see the program in a language that you understand. It's honestly never a deal breaker. It's not fucking horrible, like, it's not going to ruin your experience watching the anime. And so the show itself, meaning the overall plot line, are what keep you invested when it comes to any particular anime. So honestly, regardless of what language you're watching it in, if the anime itself is good, then you're going to have a pleasant experience watching the anime. It honestly has nothing to fucking do with whatever language you're listening to it on. And as I mentioned many times throughout the video, it's not that subbed is better than dub or vice versa, despite the fact that I'm gonna name it something like that to make your ass click on this. But no, this issue really does ultimately come down to personal preference, and that is honestly the only right answer to this whole fucking discussion. I forgot to mention that like there are exceptions to this rule. For example, subbed films. Like I was just watching the other day A Train to Busan on Netflix. Excellent film. I loved it. I also really like Apocalypto, for example. Films like that you basically have to read the fucking subtitles. I don't mind, and I love them. And again, it's not that I have anything against reading. It's that, or I just fucking explain it to you. I don't fucking like to do it when I'm watching TV, motherfucker. Like that's literally all that if I wanted to. You see these fucking manga? If I gave a shit about reading the fucking subtitles, I would instead pick up the source material. But I don't. I sit down, I watch my anime, I enjoy it, and that's the end of it. And that's the end of it, motherfucker. Dubs are not better than subs. Subs are not better than dubs. It comes down to personal preference. Shit. And so with that said, thank you for watching. If you like this video, you'll probably also like this other one here that I'm recommending. I do recommend you check this shit out. It's the manga versus anime shit. Look at it. And I'll be making a lot more anime and manga related content in the future. So if you're interested in anime and manga, please consider subscribing, because I will definitely be tickling your fancy. And again, if you made it this far, thank you for watching. Mwah.